Happy Monday, meteorologist Diane Phillips with a fantastic spring-like forecast. I know a lot of you, when you were starting out this week, you opened up that WTOL 11 weather app and said, oh my, I'm excited to see this forecast. If you love the warmer weather, we have that spring fever on our 10-day. You're going to find that it's dry, it's very warm, and we are eyeing 80s to be headed our way later this week. So we are very excited for what is ahead. It looks like finally maybe some spring color. Some leaves, some flowers are really going to be taking advantage of the forecast that we have. So we are eyeing some sunglasses weather even for today. It just kind of adds a little extra oomph to your step. It gives everybody a little more go on a Monday. And also knowing that 80s are coming our way, we don't always want to rush the week along, but if you do want to have that kind of summer feeling in the air, it will be headed our way. Now, as far as those rain chances, we'll have to wait a little bit. It'll be closer to the weekend that we finally talk about the use of umbrellas. But overall, when we're talking 80s and dry weather, this means it's the perfect time to get outside. Here's a look outside, though, you are going to find in Maumee overall. Here we go on our Fifth Third Bank Cam, kind of a look at a lot of them there as our computers are catching up. We have blue skies across Northwest Ohio, plenty of sun. If you're going to be grabbing a bite to eat here at lunchtime in downtown, it's not a bad time to go and maybe even think about lunch outside. It's been a while since we've been able to do that. But with 60 degrees in Toledo, it's definitely possible for today, even dinner outside. That's going to be the thing as we go into the later half of this week as well. We're not the only ones working with the heat. You're going to find that where we have that yellow kind of coming out of the Gulf, some southwest winds. We're tapping into some more warmer air, not the warmest of the air, but we're going to slowly start to find that in the forecast. We have mid 50s across the East Coast, and then off towards our north and west. Bismarck still sitting at 37. So, of course, they kind of like to hold on to a little bit of that cold air a little bit longer, but here at home, we're finding those readings into the 60s. Even as we go through the day today, you'll find that those highs are going to take off and we'll be getting close to 70 degrees, more than likely falling a little bit short of that. Of course, also watching our lakeshore communities. Of course, Lake Erie, a little bit cooler still, but this week I anticipate that water temperature to really start to jump for us. As we go into Tuesday afternoon, 4 o'clock, a lot of these temperatures are sitting into the low to mid 70s. And that's where we're going to be just the beginning with the heat, because as we get into Wednesday, here we go, getting close to the 80s. I anticipate a lot of us getting very close to the 80 by then. So overall, that is going to be the most summer-like day to start. We have even more heat when we check out this high temperature trend. You're going to find 82 for Thursday and even 80s for Friday. So 3 days this week will easily be having that summer sensation. And Saturday, not bad if you're going to try to get out and about. The catch is there's a little bit of rain, but we are going to hold on to that heat into the weekend. It is though Sunday. We have a cold front that's going to be nearby, and that's going to allow us then to find those cooler conditions kind of behind that front. And that's why you'll find next week the heat doesn't last. We're going to have 50s and even 49 by Tuesday, well below average. At this point, we should be talking easily lower 60s, and we just don't have it in that extended forecast. So we are going to be looking at a little bit more of that give and take. It's not just straight off to summer. It is just a reminder that April is still here. Average high, though, for today should be around 59. So already eyeing those upper 60s for this afternoon, going to be well above average. Even that morning low, we were up to 32 this morning, so a little bit more of a cooler start. But with the sun and the southwest winds, even though we were a little bit below average, we're going to easily surpass where we should be sitting. Now the record high was set back not very long ago, back in 2011 at 84 degrees. We won't be tying that record. Now, as far as the lows, if we're talking some extreme heat here for April, we won't be anywhere close to record lows. Now, also, if you're going to want to use all the time that you can to be outside, your sunset for tonight is going to be at 8:10 p.m. So already noticing that we're gaining that day length, and that's going to continue on to be the trend. We just need some more mild temperatures to go with it. But also, I know that a lot of you are maybe going to go and head to the local greenhouse or even start planting some plants. Of course, eyeing frost can be an issue. This week, though, if you really jump into that spring fever, you will find that our morning lows very comfortable headed out the door. Finding a lot of those actually when we start the day going to be into the mid 50s. But even when we find that cool down to where we get back to reality for some more April-like conditions later this month, we still aren't getting close to that freezing mark. So still, just be mindful. It really isn't until Mother's Day that we kind of are like, all right, we're a little bit more frost-free at that point. But if you do start that spring fever, you are going to notice that we do have some temperatures in the morning that are a little bit easier on it. But you're still going to want to watch that pot of pansies that you may buy here early in the season. Now, wind speeds, this is going to be another driver, not only with the sun, to help these temperatures climb. We're going to find our winds, though, not very strong for today, very light, about 10 miles per hour or less. But at least we're already locked into those southwest winds. That's going to be the biggest factor to kind of help us to bring in some of that heat. So the more heat that we can build in from the southwest, that'll just move in a little bit closer to us. So we are excited to see that here in our local forecast. But I was hinting that we do have that cold front that is going to be setting up, and that's going to be here later this week. So we have high pressure though in place. That big blue H, that is always a welcome sign. It brings us fair weather, but also it does rotate. You are going to find that to be clockwise. So that's why we're going to have those southwest winds. As long as this continues to shift a little bit further east, but still staying nearby, we are going to unlock more of those southwest winds. So that's why you're going to find some more of these vivid colors that'll set up for us as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But into the weekend, still Saturday, we can hold on to that heat. But Sunday night, you can see here this cold front. That's going to start to get very close, and we're going to switch from these warmer colors off to these cooler colors. And it's just like on that high temperature trend that we were looking at, we are going to find we actually go below average. So from one extreme to the other as we get into the back half of the month. Now, of course, a lot of you have baseball games to be going to for school, maybe some softball games as well. You have great weather for a lot of those seasons that are taking off. Just don't forget to take the WTOL 11 weather app with you. You'll have hourly temperatures as you watch your favorite student athletes take the field, but also you can just use it when we have some rainy days, some sunny days. There's so many tools that you can be using. That is a free download. As far as the rain, it's not anywhere close. We have some just towards our north and a little bit to our west, but it's actually along this boundary that's not really all that much of anything. So we are going to be looking at a quiet start to the week as far as rain, and like I had mentioned earlier, not a lot of umbrella use coming in our forecast. It's actually pretty quiet here, of course, down into Florida. We always have a little bit of that lake breeze setting up, allowing for, well, then some stormy conditions. But overall, I'm actually watching just kind of this arch that is allowing our roadway of weather to be going off towards into Canada. And then we'll see as that tries to buzz on by. But that is actually going to allow for us to be staying dry in the forecast and then conditions overall improving. Now, over the weekend, we had a really nice walleye forecast and even still looking walleye run forecast. Water levels are still sitting around that 582 mark and that water temperature into the mid 40s. If you are going to be headed out for the run, you'll have a great forecast, dry weather. Don't anticipate much as far as that water climbing because we're not picking up any additional rain. But you will find that we have those 80s. So it might be a little warm actually with our waders on. However, we do have sunny conditions until Saturday and Sunday. That's when we're going to be eyeing some rain back into the forecast, and that will even linger into Monday when we kind of get back to what some April weather should be. Of course, though, as we have this week, it's pretty quiet. Still check in with the WTOL 11 weather app for, of course, those extras from the WTOL 11 weather team. And then also, though, if you do have some weekend plans, stay updated on those rain chances in that extended forecast.